doing a little bit of motion capture later on, facial motion capture. So looks like I'm frozen there. Make sure everything's okay. Hello. Oh. All right. Hopefully, everyone can hear me and see me again. I'm back here. Sorry about that. My Zoom just crashed. That's the first time that's ever happened in the history of my webinar experience here. So let's go ahead and I'm going to share my screen again. Hopefully, we're not going to be crashed again here. Revolution.com. All right. I'm going to get things. I had to actually restart my whole computer, so that was really weird. Apologies for that, guys. Let's share my screen here. Make sure we share the sound too. All right, there we go. All right, so hopefully you can see that. I'm going to close my video now because, like I was mentioning, we will have a conflict with the webcam. I'm going to be using the webcam later for facial motion capture. So that's why I'm going to close my webcam for now. So you'll have to do without seeing my ugly mug for a little while here until the facial capture starts. Yeah, so a couple things to go through before we get started here. We have a cool deal going on, a holiday deal. Spend and get. You get $100, 100% cash back. So whenever you whatever you spend, you get a bunch of vouchers back. So make sure you check this out in the software store and the content store. Get a bunch of cash back, which is a good thing. Always a good thing. Yeah, okay, and hopefully you can see my screen. So let's go ahead and go to iClone here as well. Also wanted to mention as well in our global training network, if you are a student or a teacher, Make sure you check out our global training center here, and you can get yourself a 60% discount on all of the software here. So if you're a teacher or a student, make sure you check that out, and you should be good to go. All right, and we'll go to the webinar outline here before we get started, just to give you guys a little summary of what we're going to be talking about today here. That would be in the free online tutorials here. So our Learning Center is always a good place to check out here, to the webinars here. So like I mentioned, we're going to be talking about this stuff today here. We have a demo with, we're not going to be using the iPhone today since my iPhone kind of went kaput a couple days ago. I'm going to be using AccuFace in place of the iPhone. So make sure you are just aware of that. We're going to be doing some facial puppet and keyframe editing, lip syncing using AccuLips, always a fun time. And we're going to be doing live link transfer to Unreal Engine as well. All right. Okay, so let's get started by loading up iClone here. I had to restart everything. So let's go back to iClone here and open up our project. Like I mentioned, we're going to be doing some facial motion capture, sending from iClone over to Unreal Engine using LiveLink. Now, LiveLink, like you're probably aware, LiveLink is a paid feature. You can get it for free if you're an indie studio and you apply through our program there. Just be aware, though, that LiveLink is a paid plugin. You don't have to have LiveLink. You can also use Auto Setup. And if you guys want to know more about auto setup, I can talk more about that in the Q&A. I will be doing a brief introduction to all like auto setup and live link and all that stuff as we move along here. But all the Unreal tools that we have available, really cool stuff. I'm going to go ahead and load my project in and MetaHuman Live Link as well. So recent projects. There we go. You can see everything is brand new here on this computer, so it's kind of it's running pretty fast. Nothing really needs to be loaded too long. Okay, cool. So we have this going on here. This is a project. This is our iClone project. You can see there's a couple dummy characters, and we have Kevin and Camilla here as well. As I'll explain a little bit later, we're going to be going through this. The dummy characters are MetaHuman Live Link dummies, and these are going to be used to drive the body animation for our characters in Unreal Engine. And Kevin and Camilla will be doing the facial animation. We'll talk about that as we move along a little bit later. So in case you're not aware, MetaHuman, you can go to metahuman.unreal.com, and I'll show you that right now before we get started. .unreal, I think it's unreal.com. No, maybe not. We'll just Google it. I don't have the history available here in this on this computer here. So it's very new. Right. Okay, so you can see here we have a MetaHuman. You can just click on it. We can go to our account here. That's me, Bust a Pixel. Just launch it. So MetaHuman, again, when you get started, you want to make sure that you have the correct version. Now, we don't, for those of you who are using 5.5, just be aware we don't have the 5.5 available yet for MetaHuman. So you're going to have to use 5.4. So if I wanted to create a 5.4 character, I just go there and launch MetaHuman Creator. I have a number of characters in my library. And I'll show you those briefly here. And we'll go through the whole process of, we won't go through the process of creating a MetaHuman since, this is not really the focus of today's webinar. And we want to save time for the Q&A as well. If you have any questions about MetaHuman later on, I'd be happy to answer those. MetaHuman, great characters, obviously from Epic Games. You can animate them with iClone, which I'm going to show you, which is really cool. People always ask me about the back and forth of MetaHuman. While we're waiting for this to load, let's go to our page here, the Reallusion page, and I'll show you all the iClone stuff we have available for Unreal Engine. So iClone, we really optimize iClone to work well with Unreal Engine. We have all these auto setup tools, live link tools, and everything. To find all that stuff, just go to Overview, and under add-ons here, you'll see a number of different pages that you can go to. The first one is Live Link. I won't go to this page. It's pretty straightforward. If you're familiar with Live Link, you can just basically live stream stuff from iClone into Unreal Engine. The MetaHuman pipeline is the one that I want to go into briefly. Let's go over here to, you can just click on Overview or MetaHuman Live Link tool for free. If we go to Overview, we'll just take a look at this page here. So this is basically where you can just take your character, create a character, and you can export, your textures, your full body, and head to MetaHuman. We're not going to talk about that workflow today. We're going to be talking about the iClone workflow. All right, so we're going to be using LiveLink and data link to send your MetaHuman, animate your MetaHumans in Unreal Engine. So if you want more, if you want to learn more about, what we're going to talk about today, we have a couple more tutorials. This is the CC full textures to MetaHuman tutorial. You can send your characters, CC textures, and heads to MetaHuman to apply to a MetaHuman character in Unreal, which is really cool. And there's more tutorials here. So I'll actually just throw this in the chat for you guys here. So you can take a look at it on your own time. Again, sorry for the little snafu before. Zoom just crashed for some crazy reason. All right, so you can check that out on your own time. I won't go into too much detail on it, but I just wanted to show you that page and where to find it. Very important page for today's workflow. If you also go over to, I always close and open tabs willy-nilly here. In add-ons, the auto setup tool is free. So this is probably the one that a lot of you are going to be using. This is the auto setup tool. Again, we have auto setup for Unreal Engine, Unity, Blender, and 3ds Max. We did a Blender auto setup tutorial or webinar last month. So you can check our archives for that in the webinars there. The Unreal Engine one here. Again, it's totally free. All you really got to do is just download this stuff, and you can basically, you want to copy a couple of folders to your Unreal Engine project. I can show you how to do that later, but actually it's in the tutorial on this page here as well. So if you want to take a look at this page, there's a tutorial that you can take a look at that talks about how to use auto setup and everything like that. So I'll throw this in the chat as well, just for your reference here. All right, so these are just two very important pages for the workflow we're going to be talking about today. You do have to have auto setup installed in order to use LiveLink and in order to use the MetaHuman pipeline here. So this is the one that you're going to want to start with, auto setup here. All right, and MetaHuman Creator should be loaded right now. Okay, cool. So I got a couple of characters here. We're going to be using this Harold character. He's a really cool looking character with funky hair. I like his funky Afro style hair here. And hopefully he should load here. There you go. All right, there's Harold. You can see he's got some pretty funky looking hair. This is just, I kind of modeled him after one of my favorite authors, Malcolm Gladwell. So yeah, this is one of the guys we're going to be using today. And we're also going to be using Pia here. This is a character I created as well. You can see I have a little demo dude, Captain Kirk, down there as well, which I used for a different project. But yeah, MetaHuman is really, really great looking, obviously. Amazing looking shaders, amazing looking hair. So this is, for a lot of photorealistic projects, this is probably a workflow you may want to take a look at. All right. But let's go ahead and we'll just close this down for now. Since it's probably taking up a lot of resources. I'll just, my Zoom panel's getting in the way there. Actually, you know what? We don't really need Chrome open anymore. I don't think we'll need to use this right now. Again, in the webinar archives, you can go to webinars and you can take a look at the archives for the Blender data link one. This is the Blender pipeline workflow. So this is one you want to take a look at if you're interested in Blender. I know a lot of people use Blender and Unreal, so obviously free tools, great to use. All right, so let's go ahead and close down Chrome then, and let's get started on our Reallusion project here. All right, so we have all these characters loaded up. When you download from the MetaHuman pipeline page I sent you earlier, when you download it, let's go to our desktop here. When you download it, you'll get a folder here, a zip file, and when you unzip it, you'll get an iClone LiveLink MetaHuman kit for UE5 here, okay? And in this folder, you'll find a number of different things. Now, you want to copy your content folder to your project folder in Unreal. That's the first thing you want to do. With auto setup, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to copy the folders into your Unreal LiveLink or Unreal project there. Let's go ahead and get our Unreal project started as well. We'll get everything hooked up right off the bat here. There we go. All right, I have this little project set up. Just a basic game project, again, with nothing special in there. Hopefully we're not going to wait too long for the shaders. Okay, good. I had it loaded up earlier, so we don't have to wait for the shaders to compile, which is always a fun thing in Unreal Engine there. We have our two characters that'll be set up here. Let's just open up our stage here, or level rather. And we'll see our two characters, Harold and Pia, facing off with each other here. In just a moment. Okay, so there we go. Make sure we find out where they are. Okay, there they are. Looks like they're in a old Western style showdown. They're in a A pose. Looks like they're ready to get their revolvers out or something like that. But yeah, we're going to be having them have a conversation with each other, driven by iClone animation. So really cool stuff, body and face all together. All right. Now, like I mentioned earlier, with the MetaHuman download kit here, you're going to have these MetaHuman dummies in a folder here. All right. If you click on that, you'll see there's a number of different dummies here. They're all kind of named according to the body type in MetaHuman. So in MetaHuman, there's a few different body types. There are the medium, you can see female. F is female, obviously. Male is M. There's a short, SRT, medium, MED. Okay, and tall, TAL. Okay, so the short, medium, and tall kind of body types. And then there's overweight, normal weight, and underweight, UNW underweight, NRW normal weight, and LBW overweight, normal weight, underweight. I think that's what it stands for, anyways. Anyway, so what I normally do here is I copy this to my iClone custom folder. So if you go to our content manager into custom here, I just copy it to this folder here. Where is it? Under actors. There we go. All right, and characters. You can see I have the MetaHuman dummies for iClone here. So I just basically put it here for convenience. You don't have to put it in here if you don't want, but generally you want to. So the Harold character is a male. Let's see here. I think he's the underweight character. You can see, male, short, underweight, SRT, underweight body. Okay. So you want to put the appropriate dummy, the appropriate iClone dummy into your project to drive the body animation. Okay. And Pia is the short, underweight body for the female. All right. So these will be basically driving our characters in Unreal Engine. So I'm going to go ahead and just like link up our live link right away here. So let's go to Unreal Live Link here. Oh, I had it open already. I had it docked over here. All right. And just go ahead and activate the link. Everything will be activated there. And in our Unreal project, we can go ahead and go to our live link here, add our source, live link. Oh, get my zoom thing out of the way there. And okay. Right. So you see they're all set up here. Boom, right away. All right, very cool. We basically have it all set up, ready to go. They're all live link. We can just animate the face. Let's take a look at Harold first. Okay, so we're going to show a couple of different facial animation techniques. All right, get a little bit of a closer look at his face here. Might want to add a light here, actually, but yeah, let's do that. Yeah. Maybe add a directional light. All right. At least we can see his face a little bit better now. All right. And if we dock this over here, let's bring up iClone on the other side here. And you can see it gets really small on this laptop here. So apologies for that. We'll just zoom in on. So basically, it's all connected already. And if we go to our character, I'll show you the blueprint in just a sec, but I just want to show you the functionality first. So we have the same character. Again, the face is driven by Kevin and the body is driven by the dummy here. So let's go ahead and just do a quick like facial animation check here. Facial puppet, for example. We choose like Kevin, we can preview and there you go. Okay. So simple as that. Live Link is super easy to use. Again, you can, all the wrinkles and everything on the face, looking fantastic over there in Unreal Engine. So boom, we're basically already set up with iClone and Unreal. I'm going to show you a couple things here that are important to note in the Unreal project before we get started. Your MetaHuman characters, you'll find them under MetaHumans, obviously. If you've used MetaHumans before, they'll be in a MetaHumans folder. And under Harold, you'll find the blueprint for Harold. Okay, and the face and the body, all the different blueprints and stuff are all set up in here. Now, when you do your MetaHuman stuff, you want to copy the folder, the content folder, and you'll have a folder for iClone here. And this contains a number of different pose assets. You'll see here the pose asset, CCNM pose asset, iClone set. This is for iClone 7 if you're using iClone 7. And we have this other ones as well. And this one's for the head. Okay, so basically it all works through blueprints. You can take a look at the blueprints. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. I want to spend a bit more time on the facial animation stuff that we're going to talk about in just a moment here. All right, so let's get started. Let's go ahead and do some facial animation, and we'll get through this pretty quick, and we'll have a lot of time for the Q&A at the end, so should be good to go. All right, and I want to mention as well, you'll notice that the position for the metahumans are a little bit different here. And one of the reasons why I wanted to show you that is because we'll talk a little bit about that later, actually. We'll do that a little bit later because that's to do with foot sliding. When you have a root transition between iClone and Unreal Engine, you'll see some foot sliding stuff. Okay, so in iClone, let's go ahead and get started with the facial animation first. I won't show the live update in Unreal because I want to focus the screen on just the facial animation stuff in iClone, and we'll show the result in Unreal later with the live link. So we can just kind of alt tab between the two windows here. So let's get started with iClone. Let's go do some facial animation first. Now, facial animation, I'm going to be using AccuLips here. So AccuLips is not really a new feature. It's a couple of years old now, but it's a really great tool for lip syncing. If you want lip sync, live lip sync or recorded audio lip sync. I'm going to be using recorded audio in this webinar. So we'll talk about that in just a moment here. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, the way I normally do like a facial performance, for example, is I normally start with a lip sync. So the lip sync will just be your basic lip sync, and then you can add expressions onto it. You can do facial puppet. You can do facial motion capture. I'll show you a little bit of both here. I honestly like to use the facial puppet tool. It's really quick and easy to use, especially just for like just trial stuff. If you want to do some previs, for example, the facial motion puppet is like just amazing. I'll also talk about the digital soul content pack, which I basically always promote this in every webinar, the digital soul content pack. It's a great pack for just adding some calm facial expressions, not too crazy facial expressions to your character, natural looking expressions. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But let's go ahead and get started with our kind of dialogue between the two characters here. All right. Now, I think we start with the female character. Yeah. Okay. Now, in case you're curious, I got these audio clips from 11 Labs here. I'll just go ahead and show you here. 11 Labs. 11labs.io, great AI tool for getting some text to speech going. You can see here that we have a number of different voices we can use. Brian, Rachel. I'm in Japan, so maybe it's choosing these ones here. Sakura, Suzuki, Ichiro, for example. You can see there's a Callum. I use Brian and Alice for this one here. I'll show you a quick example. You get like 10,000 credits free, which is really awesome. Okay, and then I believe you have to pay for it after that. So just be aware of that. Really cool. There's sound effects, voices, voice changers as well. You can change your own audio there. Let's take a look at Brian, for example. We're already on Brian's voice, I believe. Yeah. Okay. So this is actually the audio that we're going to be using for today's webinar. Let's see. I want to create something, for example, like, hey, my name is Kai. We're doing a cool webinar right now. Hope, you enjoy it. All right, and then we'll just generate speech down here. And
hey, my name is Kai. We're doing a cool webinar right now. Hope you enjoy it.
All right, so honestly, that sounds like really good, to be honest. It's not going to replace like a legit voice actor, obviously, but for previous stuff and actually for a lot of projects, you can use this, which is really great. So,
Hey, my name is Kai. We're doing a cool webinar right now. Hope you enjoy it.
all right, sounds very natural, very cool. All right, so that's basically just generate it, and then you can download your clip right here to MP3 format. I have both my MP3s saved in the folder prepared for today's webinar. So let's go ahead and do the female one first. Now to create facial performance in iClone, you just go over here to your motion tab and you go up to create script. Okay. So this is the way I basically do all my facial performance. I start with the lip syncing, create script, and I'm going to use AccuLips. Okay. So again, the traditional way is text to speech. Or not traditional way. Audio file here, you just import an audio file. But AccuLips, generally, you're never going to use this audio file option, really, to be honest, now that we have AccuLips. So generally, you just want to go ahead and create AccuLips here. And you can record your own voice here, like I mentioned, with the record button. I'm going to load in a audio file. Let's go ahead and do that. Female 01. All right. And just go ahead and you can play it back.
Hi there, how's it going? I like your funky hairstyle.
She said, I like your funky hairstyle and some kind of Australian accent because Harold has that, puffy looking hair. So just go ahead and generate text. That's going to basically transcribe all your audio there. You can see she says, hi there, how's it going? So the transcription may be not the most accurate at this point here. So maybe you might need to fix it. Hi there, how's it going? How's it going? I like your funky hairstyle. Okay. So again, you may need to fix this up a little bit. Okay. And then just go ahead and click align. And you can see it basically separates everything into different words here with the audio on top here.
Hi there.
Okay. So you can just put
Hi
that back.
there, how's it going? I like your funky hairstyle.
Okay. With the audio and everything. So we're good to go. Let's go ahead and just to quickly apply that. All right, you can see her mouth opens. Now she has some words to speak. All right, we'll press F3 and go into the timeline here. And you can see right off the bat, let's expand the timeline a little bit here so you can see a bit better. We don't need the project tracks. We don't need collect clip. We don't need transform. We don't need motion for now. We'll keep it motion there for now, though. Okay, so it creates a Visine clip in the Visine track here. All right. And attached to that are all your different individual Visine keyframes down here in the lips track. So you can see here, she says hi. Okay, so when her mouth is open, there's like an ah. And let's see, for example.
There, how's it going? I like your funky.
So funky, for example, is a good one to look at. So if we take a look at the FV, let's zoom in on her face a little bit more here. Okay, so you can see this is the FV. And her lips are kind of making the F shape, okay, for the f. All right, so you can see that right there. You can click it right there, and you can increase or decrease the level of expressiveness. Okay, so the strength of it, and you can do this for each individual clip as well, or each individual keyframe as well. So no problem there. Another thing you can do that's very useful. There's actually a number of ways you can edit your individual lip keyframes there. So if I right-click on the clip and I go ahead and select lip options here, you can see there's a number of lip options for smoothing. Now, generally, I rarely use this option, to be honest. You can smooth the entire mouth. I often use this if I do the lip syncing from like the live lip syncing, like with AccuFace or iPhone, for example. If I do the motion capture lip syncing, like if I'm not using AccuLips, sometimes I may use this because sometimes you'll find like jittering on your lips if the motion capture is not incredibly correct or there's a little bit of issue with it. You can smooth it out. You can also increase the clip strength. Again, I don't really use this too often except for facial motion capture lip syncing, which I don't often do now that AccuLips is available. So you won't really be using that too often, I don't think. Right click on the clip and go to show words. Okay, you can still show the words. Talking style editor is a really good one. Okay, so if you go to talking style editor here, we have a number of different presets that we can use. So for example, if we want her to be like, mumbling, for example, not really useful, but you can see all the values here for the individual Visine parameters go down. And that means that basically you're going to see, hopefully you can kind of see this if I play back, but
Hi there, how's it going? I like your funky hair.
She's not really going to move her mouth as much. All right, so it's kind of like she's mumbling. Now on the other side of the coin here, if you go over to like global 200 or something like type bellowing, so bellowing like yelling really loudly or enunciating. Enunciating will increase these values. Okay, only some of the values will go to like 150, like the E and the G and stuff like that. Okay, and this you get very extreme values there. If we go to like global 200, this is like going to be super crazy. Like everything's maxed up to 200. And if we play this back, you'll see that, obviously it's way too exaggerated. You may want to use this for like stylized type characters, okay, like stylized cartoon type characters.
Hi there, how's it going? I like your funky hairstyle.
All right. It's a little bit too extreme for this situation here. So I may want to use something maybe like enunciating. Okay, this will be a nice kind of happy medium for us because we do want, she does sound like she's enunciating. She's kind of like an announcer.
Hi there, how's it going? I like your funky hairstyle.
Okay, so I'm not sure if you can tell in the live playback, it may be a bit jittery over Zoom here, but the accuracy of this is incredible. It basically is flawless accuracy for AccuLips lip syncing. That's why I love using it. It's basically it's going to be better than most things. Okay, now you have this. You have a face with no expression. There's a couple things you can do. There's a few different ways you can add expressions, and I'm going to be spending most of the webinar kind of talking about the different ways you can add expressions to your character after the lip syncing. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go over to we'll close down our timeline for now. Maybe the first one I'll do is just let's do the facial motion capture. All right. So for facial motion capture, I'm going to go ahead and unload AccuFace. Like I mentioned, I'm going to be using AccuFace for this one. If you want to learn how to use the iPhone, it's basically the same thing. I just think AccuFace is a really good one to promote right now. It's fairly accurate. I'll show you the process here. And again, if you want to learn about the iPhone, we did the same webinar we did about a year ago. I can show you that in the archive, or there's tutorials about it as well. But I'm just going to go ahead and load AccuFace here. I think AccuFace is great. Obviously, it uses webcams. So now you should be able to see my face. There we go. All right. Let's go ahead and make that a little bit bigger so you can see me a bit better. Okay. Now with AccuFace, there's a couple of tips. If you're not aware, make sure that you have very even lighting on your face. You can see I'm kind of sitting across from a window right now, so I kind of have natural light on my face. It's very even. There's no like dark shadows on my face. If I was in like if there's harsh light coming from one side, that's a very bad thing. You generally don't want that, but you can see here that the tracking is fairly good. I have a fairly uneventful background. Okay, it's just a blank wall really. So these are kind of the ideal situations, the ideal scenario you want for your facial motion capture with AccuFace. All right, now there's a couple things you can do here. You can reduce tracking interference for the mouth, brow, and head. Again, excuse me. These are used generally if you are having issue with your lighting or there's some sort of jittering issue or something like that. Try to use a very high resolution. 1280 by 720 is generally okay. I've never used this webcam, so it's a little bit higher than my normal one, my PC at home. So yeah, a couple options here. Really nothing too crazy. One cool thing about AccuFace is you can load in videos, like pre-made videos. So if you go to video here, we can load in a video, for example, that we've pre-recorded, which is I think that's one of the coolest features of AccuFace. Okay, so okay, you can see my face there. Calibrate facial capture is something you want to do when you start off. So let's go ahead and do that. Calibrate facial capture. You'll see the template come up here. We can do all expressions, auto switch. Yeah, no worries. Just set facial expressions. Go to set expressions, or you can use the S hotkey as well. So the first one is neutral face. You can see. So I'm going to do neutral face. Okay, brow raise, brow down, and this one I always find it hard to do this one. Don't worry if you can't do it. I'm not like Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones. You know that character, Khaleesi? She has the craziest eyebrows. If you see her interview, she's always like, wow, wow. I can't really do that. So I'm not a very good eyebrow person. So this is kind of a weird calibration for me. Okay, so then we're basically done. All right. So I'm not going to show my face when I'm doing the capture. I want to show the entire screen. I want to show iClone there. like again, you can view the grid overlay if you want. It's not really helpful for the situation here, but yeah. So nothing really to talk about here. So your calibration state is full. That's good. All right. So let's go back into iClone and we'll do some facial capture. So she's saying,
Hi there, how's it going? I like your funky hairstyle.
okay, cool. So that goes to about frame 233 there. Let's go ahead and just for the purposes of no, no, never mind about that. I was going to change the project link, but we don't have to worry about that. We're using live links. So okay, so then to get your Motion Live started, go up to Plugins, Motion Live, and this is where you'll find AccuFace. Okay, so here we have Camilla. Make sure you select Camilla and choose AccuFace for her. Okay, this is audio for Vising track, is if you're recording the audio at the same time. We're not doing that. Okay. Now, the thing that you want to do when you're blending your lip syncing with your facial capture, with your facial performance, is generally you want to deselect the mouth. Okay, because you don't want your smile or your mouth movement interfering with the lip syncing from AccuLips, which is already really accurate. So generally, you just want to go ahead and deselect that and click on AccuFace. It's already linked up. Okay, good. Make sure your connection is the same. You can set zero pose here, which is a neutral pose. It's not really necessary in most cases, but for better accuracy, you might want to do it. But just go ahead and preview. Okay, there's me. Wow. So you see the jaw is still working. So jaw is still working, but the mouth. Now we have the mouth. Okay. Wow. 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 Yeah. Okay, but let's go ahead and deselect the mouth for now. Okay, so that's the preview. Very very cool, very expressive eyebrows. I find that AccuFace is really good with the eyebrows. So if you like, for facial performance, generally you're pretty good. If you find the strength is too high, you can go ahead and decrease the strength. So that's much more subtle. Okay, you can't see it, but I'm really pushing my eyebrows to the limit here. You can increase the strength like that. Okay. And you can, do it for only the brows, for example, only the eyelids, only the eyeballs. Um, okay. But yeah, those are the basic settings. Denoise, you may want to do that if you're getting too much interference with your facial capture. Smooth, I generally don't use this for facial performance because it often kind of dulls the energy of your expressions. So if I went like this, for example, it'd be like just a really slow result. So, okay, cool. So what you have to do is basically you want to prepare yourself, like you have to remember, what did my character say? What's the entire thing? What's her script? She says, oh, hey, how's it going? I like your funky hairstyle, right? So maybe I want my facial performance to be something like, okay, just some, natural looking eyebrow expression. Okay. Because yeah, because I can puff out my cheeks still. Okay. But anyways, get too carried away with that stuff. Let's go ahead and record it. So again, make sure you're at frame 1 where your motion starts. I'll press F3 and go into the timeline too, so you can see something will appear in what's called the expression track, which we need to open here. So that's where your clip will record to. Okay, so let's go ahead and record then. And we can do some head movements as well. All right, so.
Hi there, how's it going? I like your funky hairstyle.
Okay, I think that went pretty well. Okay, and so you'll see a clip appear in the expression track here. Now, if you go under expression, you can see expressiveness, expressing layers here. This is where you basically do some modifications to it. So let's go ahead and play that back and see what it looked like first. I'll close down Motion Live for now.
Hi there, how's it going? I like your funky hairstyle.
All right, I think that worked okay.
I like your funky hairstyle.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we're good to go there. Now, I wanted to mention as well here on the side in your animation tab here, you'll see the vising strength and you'll see the expression strength. This is a global setting. This is not keyframed. Okay, so just be aware if you decrease your expression strength here, you can decrease it to have less expression overall. Okay.
There, how's it going? I like your funky hairstyle.
Okay, I think maybe that looks a bit better since she's more like a less cartoony. I know my face is cartoony. I got a silly looking face, but maybe for this character, this photorealistic kind of scenario, we want to decrease the expression strength. Okay,
How's it
something like a
going?
bit more
I like
legible
your
like that. Okay, I think that looks good. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and work with that. Now, while the other character is listening, he's not going to be just sitting there doing nothing. We're going to use the digital soul content pack that I mentioned earlier. So this is a very useful one. I was reading the chat there. Her voice sounds like that announcer on the poker championship broadcast. That's kind of true, actually. Yeah, I watch a little poker myself. Okay, so when Kevin is basically listening to her compliment his hairstyle. It's not going to be Kevin's hairstyle. It's going to be Harold's hairstyle in the end. But let's go to animation here. And once we're in template there, and there's this digital soul content pack. I always promote this pack because I really enjoy it. Just because it's easy to apply quick, natural looking, facial expressions to your character. So, if he's listening, maybe he's just doing something like a faint smile or a grin or something like that. Okay, so if we do this faint smile.italk and we look at his face here, you'll see the facial performance is
Hi there, how's it going? I like your funky hairstyle.
right. So just a very, very subtle like blink and a smile, like a small grin. So if we go to F3 and open up our timeline here, you can see it's just this one little thing here. We can copy that if we want. We can extend it. So
I like your funky hairstyle.
maybe to like about 230. We can just go ahead and click and drag it to about 230 there.
Hairstyle.
He'll grin again. So he grins a couple
I
times. And it's just really nice to have this option just to quickly and easily create these natural expressions. Again, I could do facial motion capture. I could just sit there and do facial motion capture myself of him doing a blink and a small grin. But the digital soul one is just so easy to apply. So you don't have to go through all that nonsense. Okay. So we have her talking all finished and taken care of. So
Hi there, how's it going? I like your funky hairstyle.
I'll give him some time to think, and then he responds at this point here. So this is where we'll use Kevin, and we'll do the create script for Kevin and AccuLips here, and open it up. And we have this mail response. I forget what I said, something about an accident with a hairdryer or something. We'll generate the text and see. I was going to say I put my finger in an electrical outlet or something like that, but I think the hairdryer one is kind of more. Thanks. I had a bit of an accident with the hair dryer this morning. All right, dryer spelled wrong, but that doesn't matter really. You can just realign that. It doesn't really need to be realigned, just spelled dryer incorrectly. Okay, so here's his response.
Thanks. I had a bit of an accident with the hairdryer this morning.
Okay, so it's pretty
Thanks. I had a bit of an accident with the hairdryer this morning.
and very natural speech, natural sounding. I think it works really well. So let's go ahead and just apply that. Right now, again, we can do like digital soul underneath this. Most of the digital soul templates here, they don't have any mouth movement, like any nothing that'll interfere with your lip syncing. So again, this is another reason why it's really cool because you can just basically apply any of these on top of your lip syncing. Okay, like this what when you can see his mouth is open. Okay, so obviously you're not going to be using that, but if he's being complimented, we can just go ahead and apply something like I don't think he'd be frightened. He'd be kind of like maybe not mopey, not grieved. These are all sad. Okay, so there's the talking ones here. You can see that. Maybe he's dozing off. I don't know. This one, listening positive. Okay, so that's a female one, but it doesn't really matter. We'll just go ahead and use it. So again, that can layer on top of the lip syncing.
Thanks. I had an accident with the hairdryer this morning.
Okay, so head movement, you can see a nice kind of slight mouth opening there. Okay, but again, nothing to worry about.
Thanks. I had a bit of an accident with the hairdryer this morning.
And he does a little smile afterwards. So I think that's appropriate. We got lucky on that one. Okay, and okay. So again, now I want to show the facial puppet tool as well. We'll do the facial puppet. We'll do the quick body animation, and we'll end off the webinar and get to the Q&A here. So let's go over to Face Puppet. And I just want to show you this really quickly as well. So Face Puppet, again, it's a real-time tool. You have to basically be quick to basically use your mouse to puppet your character's face. Okay, so you can see we're using the Kevin expression that we showed earlier. Okay, so you can blend this on top of the digital soul clip there. For that, you want to make sure you click on blend here. I normally use blend unless I'm just doing like a brand new facial capture. Then I select new. Okay. You can modify specific areas like the brows, for example. If we click on browse and preview that, we can modify the brows themselves. And again, we can blend this over top of our digital soul base there. So, and you can click on like a single brow, for example. You want to deselect that brow, only one brow. So maybe he's like, oh, kind of curious, you something like that. We can modify that separately. And then again, there's a strength slider, all sorts of other things I can get into. But let's just go ahead and use both eyebrows. We'll do a little bit of a quick kind of curious eyebrow raise on top of this. Okay, so it doesn't really matter where we start from. Let's maybe start from here. Okay, and just record. And again,
Thanks. I had a bit of an accident with the hairdryer this morning.
okay. So again, that just basically overwrites it. The puppet clip right here. You can see
Thanks.
here we have our eyebrow raise that we didn't have before.
Hairdryer this morning.
And we can do things like the just move only the eyes, for example, as well, if we want to do that. Have him do a little bit of a kind of eye roll, for example. And again, just blend that on top of it. We can replace it. Generally, you don't want to replace. I'm just going to go ahead and record this over top of that. Let's just do it from back here. We'll do a brief sideways eye glance. Okay, so record.
Thanks. I had a bit of an accident with the hairdryer this morning.
Okay, I think that worked well. Again, it just overrode it there.
Thanks.
So we have the brief look to the side there.
I had a bit of an accident.
And an eye roll sort of thing there. Okay, so I mean, it's so easy to do this, right? It just takes like 2 seconds, and you get some really decent facial performance. Now, again, if you want to go into more detail, obviously on top of that, there's things like the facial key editor here. So we go to face key, for example, here, and say, for example, I thought the eyebrow raise is a little bit too, or maybe we want to add a little bit of smirk to his face here. To do that, we go into face key. So this is a keyframe by keyframe facial editing. All right. And for here, we're going to open the expression layer. And you can see all the tracks here. What I'm going to do is go ahead and click on reset to 0. Basically, I'm just going to reset it back to the base value of our puppet clip here. All right. So in this case, it just adds a keyframe. All right. It's just a lazy way to add a keyframe, really. All right. And then say, for example, here, we wanted to maybe, give him a little bit of a smirk on the side of his face. We just click on this here and go like, ooh, that's a little bit too much of a smirk. Okay, something like more subtle like that. And you can see it has that little clip, that little keyframe there rather. Okay. You can use the sliders with all the different blend shapes. You can use the expression templates or the muscles here. And again, you can click on key all expressions or just one. In this case, we'll just do the one. So it'll just show up in the muscle layer there, in the muscle track. So
with the hairdryer.
okay, so he has that little smirk, and then maybe we can extend that for a little bit. So copy that clip, or copy that keyframe rather, paste it, and then maybe here, reset back to 0. Okay, so he smirks for a little bit.
Accident with the hairdryer this morning.
Okay, I think that works pretty well. There we go. There's our facial performances for both characters. So let's take a look at what it looks like in Unreal. Let's make sure that we end our project at about this frame here. And again, if we want, we can just do a digital soul expression on the female when she's listening to him talk, but we won't bother with that right now. So wherever we're at right now, I can just go ahead and click this button here, set end frame. Okay, that'll basically set our project length to that length. A really useful little thing. Wherever you are in the timeline, it'll set the project length to that length there. All right, so let's take a look at the facial performance of both the characters in Unreal. We have to play it back in iClone. Gosh, I wish I had two monitors right now. I'm on a laptop right now, so it's it'd be nice to have two monitors. You know what? I can just go ahead and let's just kind of share the screen here. Again, sorry, it's going to be a little bit small, but take a look at her expression first. So play that back.
Hi there, how's it going? I like your funky hairstyle.
Okay. And then the male character. You. I've been using Blender for a while, so the Unreal controls are getting to me here. All right. And then there's a really close up of his face.
Thanks. I had a bit of an accident with the hairdryer this morning.
Okay. Now the lips don't seem to be on track here. Let me make sure that we have everything set in Unreal here. With your character selected in Unreal, make sure that you're on in details here. Make sure that your AR face is set to Kevin. So the expressions are coming okay. I'm not sure why the lip syncing isn't coming through there. But use AR face kit. Make sure that all these are selected in your live link, by the way. So we're going to be using Kevin, obviously, for the facial subject. And the short underweight male body for the body. All right. I'll have to take a look into this as to why the lips aren't moving. Right, it should be moving. But anyways, okay, so like I mentioned here, the position of Kevin here is a little bit, position of Harold, I'm going to use those interchangeably, is a little bit different from where Pia is. And that's because if I apply let's apply a quick animation, body animation to Pia, and you'll see her kind of slide a little bit. So I'm going to do that in iClone here. And running short on time here, so I'm just going to apply a quick animation to her. For the duration. Again, not to Camilla here, but to the body dummy character. And let's just do a quick one here. We don't need to worry about the timeline for now. Conversations. This is a conversation pack I have here. These are just body animations for general conversation stuff. Let's just do something like a chat, relax female. All right. So there you go. So this is going to be a big...
Hi there, how's it going? I like your funky hairstyle.
Thanks. I had a bit of an accident with the hairdryer this morning.
Okay. Don't worry about, you know, the other, maybe when he replies.
Thanks.
We don't want her to be responding. Maybe we want her to be doing something like chat listen. Okay, there we go. So that'll blend nicely into that one.
I had a bit of an accident with the hairdryer this morning.
Oh. Did we apply that properly? Yeah, we did. Okay. Chat listen. Oh, it's blending too long. That's why. I'm not sure why it would blend that long in the first place, but let's break this clip. So when he begins talking, we'll break the clip. Just non-destructive and delete. And then we'll blend this chat listen in there. Okay, and we want to right click on this, align whole clip to the right foot. In this case, her right foot is planted there. All right. That way we don't get the sliding that we had before.
Your funky hairstyle.
Thanks. I had a bit of an accident with the hairdryer this morning.
Okay, and that'll be good. Not sure why she's raising her hand if she's listening, but anyways, we'll work with that. And then we'll do one for Kevin's body double here. So he's going to be listening at first. He's not a female. You can see there's the F standing for female. So let's give him maybe more of a chat listen. We don't want a moving one. We'll just use chat, cheer, mail, whatever. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on this.
I like your funky hairstyle.
Thanks. I had a bit of an accident with the hairdryer this morning.
Oh, that's not going to work. We don't want him bouncing around like that. Let's just do the one where he's kind of standing there. Maybe basic move.
Hi there.
Hopefully that applied properly. There we go. Okay, so it's a very short one. So while he's listening, we'll just kind of extend it.
Thanks.
And then maybe when he responds, he's going to say, here we go, chat passion.
Thanks. I had a bit of an accident with the hairdryer this morning.
All right, whatever. Yeah. Again, I'm not going to go through all these chats and all these different motions. We'll just go ahead and work with that since we're kind of running short on time here. I'll just break that, whatever. Okay. Maybe I'll take this one down and blend that together.
Key hairstyle.
Thanks. I had a bit of an accident with the hairdryer this morning.
Okay, that works fine. Okay. So he'll end up like that. Okay, and there you go. That's basically the whole pipeline. If we play that back in Unreal. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention here as well is like the position that I mentioned earlier. That was the original reason why I was applying some motions. So let's take a look at what happens with the female character in Unreal here. Let's get a better look from the front here. Her foot position. So if I play this back, well, let's close down AccuFace for now. We don't need that. So again, I'll just share the screen here or split the screen. So watch what happens with Pia.
Hi there. How's it going? I like your funky
You
hairstyle.
see, there's some pretty
Thanks.
gnarly looking.
I had a bit of an
right?
accident with the hairdryer this morning.
Okay, so that's something that obviously we don't want. So the way you fix that is you have to actually go into your Unreal blueprint for your metahuman. So let's go over here to content, metahumans, and Pia. I already did this with the male character Harold. So what you want to do is go into your blueprint here, and let's make this a little bit bigger. And you want to add a component. You want to add a skeletal animation component. So skeletal, whoops, live link skeletal animation. Okay. And then over here, you want to click on live link updated because we're using live link. Okay. So click on that plus there. Okay. That's going to give us a live link updated node there. And basically what you want to do is you just want to drag everything from here, or you want to click on this rather, click on the and do a RL root transform function. Okay, so RL root transform. Okay, now this will be available with the MetaHuman Live Link pack. This is some of the content that's copied over, so you won't find this if you didn't copy that over. And then basically from here, what we want to do is want to link everything from the body right here. So blue to the targets and live link body subject right here, and also use live link body to use live link. Okay, and just go ahead and compile and save that. And that's pretty much it. You just need to do that little quick fix there, and there you'll see now she's kind of in a different position based on the position of the character in iClone there. But now, if we play back, let's get a better look at her. We won't see the foot sliding. All right. So play that back.
Hi there. How's it going? I like your funky hairstyle.
Okay. Snake exact result.
I had a bit of an accident with the hairdryer this morning.
All right. So we don't have that foot sliding anymore. That's just a quick fix for that. All right, and that's really all I wanted to talk about. We're basically right on time here, so we'll get to the Q&A in just a moment. I was kind of curious about the lip syncing. I'm not sure if maybe I have a version discrepancy or something with the characters. The lips should be moving. I'm not sure what the issue would be with that. I think because it's just very strange that the blend shapes are the expressions are transferring over, but the lip syncing is not. I'm not sure if anyone else has had that issue in the past, but apologies for that. So there should be a fix for it. But I think it's probably a version discrepancy that I'm using 5.4 with maybe a outdated MetaHuman uh, or outdated plugin, outdated live link maybe with 5.4. But hopefully that's the issue there. But there you go. You can see basically they're talking to each other. You can move them around and you can have all sorts of fun with that. And you can have them look at each other in iClone as well. But yeah, that's basically it. So let's go ahead and start the Q&A then. If you guys have any questions, put your questions in the Q&A panel in Zoom there, and I'll get to those. Make sure they're not in the chat, just so you're aware. Make sure they're in the Q&A. Yeah, I'm seeing maybe the mask you said earlier on the mouth. It wouldn't be that. It wouldn't be the mask because I mean I already recorded the performance is already baked in, so it's a very peculiar situation. I don't think it would be anything to do with iClone because the facial performance in iClone is just fine, right?
Hi there, how's it going? I like your funky
Mouth is moving
hairstyle.
just fine.
Thanks. I had a bit of an accident with the hairdryer this morning.
Okay, anyways, yes, apologies for that, guys. I'll have to take a look at that a little bit later. But okay, so let's get to the Q&A. If you guys have any questions, let's get that done, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys have. All right, so first one here, we got a question from anonymous attendee. Every time I make audio in Spanish, I place a lot of visemes that have nothing to do with the audio, even when I include the text. Is there a possibility in the future I can improve the tool for Spanish or other languages? Yes, absolutely. Thanks for the question, anonymous attendee there. We do get a lot of questions about that, and we are currently working on different languages for AccuLips. So yeah, that is an issue that we're well aware of, especially people speaking Chinese or Japanese or something like that. Spanish is another one for sure. You're going to get slightly different visemes for your audio, for your text rather. So yeah, we are working on that and we are aware of that. So good question. All right, this seems like we don't have very many questions today, which is kind of interesting. Next one here is from Sam. Greetings. Is there a plan to do a webinar on AccuPose? I can hardly wait to learn more about using it. Yes. Okay. Good question, Sam. We do have a webinar plan for AccuPose. I'm currently working on it right now, actually, on the planning stages. That'll be in January. I think early January, January 9th or 8th. So check back on the webinar site, webinar page rather. We also will email you for any upcoming webinars. So I think that's January 8th or 9th is what we have it set for now. For those of you who aren't aware, AccuPose is our new AI-based posing tool, which is really awesome. There's a tutorial coming out on it really soon. I just actually finished that tutorial last week, so we should be publishing it, I think, this week. All right. Another question from Anonymous here. When not using MetaHuman, will the body and face work on the same model? Yeah, absolutely. So, if it's actually easier, MetaHuman makes it more, I mean, to go from iClone characters to MetaHuman characters, you can see it's obviously a bit more complex. You have to have a separate body dummy and separate animations for the face. So that's kind of a weird thing. But if you want, you can just basically send Kevin himself directly over into to Unreal with his animation and everything. I can show you how to do that really quick because it's pretty simple. Maybe I'll show actually let's show the auto setup. Okay, because this is the free option. If you're not aware of how to use auto setup, it's really easy. Let's maybe just have his entire motion here. And let's apply a motion to Kevin. Well, just an idle motion, so he's not standing there like a rube. Maybe when he's listening, we'll just have this basic move. Okay. Let's expand that a little bit, and then when he's talking, we'll just have so many female motions. It seems like there's more female ones than males. All right, we'll just use this one here for his body.
hairstyle.
Thanks. I had a bit of an accident with the hairdryer this morning.
Okay, we'll just break it after that. Okay, so his animation lasts what, approximately 500 frames. So let's go ahead with Kevin selected, and I'll just go ahead and file export, export FBX. We're going to use Unreal Target Tool preset. Make sure you select Unreal here. Export range, we'll just do frame 0 to 500, said earlier. Now, you can also delete hidden faces. He doesn't have much to hide here. He's only wearing his underwear. Yeah, so generally that's going to be your settings for exporting to Unreal FBX. Let's go ahead and export that and set to, let's do Kev talk. All right. Yeah, don't worry about that. And then we can import that into Unreal Engine really easily. Again, the way you do it with Live Link, obviously with Live Link, it's a lot easier. You can just click on Live Link and click on like send transfer character. So if I did that, if I, deactivated my Live Link here, do the same thing in Unreal. Oh, you know what? Maybe do this. I think that ARKit live link thing might have been overriding the facial motion. Let's check that before we. Let's see if the facial animation works now. Doesn't seem like it. So I just wanted to check if maybe that other live link was overriding the lip syncing.
Hi there, how's it going? I like your funky hairstyle.
Thanks.
Yep.
I had a bit of an accident with the hairdryer this
All
morning.
right, I'll get to that at some point, I guess. Let's undo the live link and in iClone deactivate the link. And let's bring good old Kevin into our Unreal project here. Let's just into the main folder is fine. Or maybe RL content. Right. Well, you can see I already actually brought the model in. Okay, we save it to the desktop. kevtalk.fbx. All right. Oops. The JSON file. All right, so high quality shader generally if you want the best quality, and press OK, and that'll bring our FBX in. It should bring up our import option window, but there we go. That's how you do it. Skeletal mesh, okay. Import mesh, yep. Import animations, exported time. You want to make sure you use time 0 as as a reference pose. And we should be good to go there. Make sure you have that selected. Use time 0 as reference pose, and then just import all. So that'll be the way you do it. And then when I import him in, you'll see him with the animation and everything. But while that's loading, I'll go to the next question here. So, all right, Q&A. Inso Dimension asks how to use the new 5.5 metahuman audio to face on CC4 characters and apply a digital soul animation on top of it in Unreal Engine. So again, with this, if you're taking the metahuman characters, generally we don't have the workflow to send a metahuman character to iClone. That's generally not something that people would do just because the metahuman shader in Unreal obviously looks better in Unreal, so not really much of a reason why you would take it into to iClone, since the rendering in Unreal is a lot better than iClone. So yeah, generally the workflow goes the other way, but yeah, so we don't really have that workflow, and so just because it's not really practical for most people. But thanks for the question, though. We'll go to the next one from Osman here. As far as I know, 5.5 has fixed some bugs for metahuman animations, especially the floating head problem. So when can we use the reillusion tools with 5.5? Very good question. We are currently working on it right now. I believe it'll be before the end of the month that we have the 5.5 update for Unreal Live Link. So it's currently in the works. Unreal keeps on bringing out new versions, and then we're always scratching to keep updated on everything. So 5.5 is coming out really soon. But like I showed earlier, I'm using 5.4 with this current webinar. So okay, question from Anonymous. AccuLips, can you change the lip syncing, either global or individual words? Yeah, absolutely. I showed that briefly a little bit earlier. Basically you want to go to the Visine track and you'll see all your individual lip keyframes here. Let's zoom in a bit so you can see it better. So if we look at zoom in on Kevin's face, for example, look at that smug look on his face. So something like these are the individual keyframes down here. So this TH or IH right here, double click on it, and you can change the expressiveness of it itself. It's kind of get a better look at him there. Okay, so expressiveness, go down or up. Okay, you can change it to a woo for some reason if you wanted to. Generally, you wouldn't want to do that, but there you go. Okay, this is how you manipulate individual ones. And of course, I showed earlier how you can also use the face key editor to modify on top of that. You can modify the lip shape, the expressions and everything on top of that. So if you want further detail on that, I'd be happy to show it, but I think that's should be a good enough explanation. Another question from Ohms. Can you describe how to save the work after a live link session saved in UE? Yeah, so generally you want to use a sequencer for that. So, what you do there is there's tutorials on it. I won't go through the whole process right now, but you want to create a sequence. Oh, there's Kevin, by the way. Okay, so I'll just quickly show Kevin's animation here, and then there you go. Okay, so here the lip syncing is working. Right, you can see his lips moving there. You got the facial expressions, everything. Okay, so now I guess the live link for some reason it was just kind of not doing the lips, but yeah, it imports with the FBX. And if you transferred it over using live link, it'll do the same thing. Yeah, but in terms of you want to like create a sequence basically here. Now add a level sequence and then basically just add the animations to your sequence. Sequencer gets a little bit complex, so I won't go into it right now. But there are tutorials in our learning center about adding to the sequencer with live link. I'll show you in where you can find all the Unreal tutorials here. Gosh, this is annoying. Learn free online tutorials and iClone and pipeline. You'll find Unreal Live Link plugin here. All right, so this is where it shows how to do live link recording to the sequencer. There's also just like regular Unreal. If you want to do stuff like I showed like Kevin. This getting started with control rig, this is a great one. If you're not aware, we have our own CC control rig for Unreal Engine. I don't have that installed on this project, but this one also shows you how to record to the sequencer. You can actually record directly to the sequencer using live link, which is awesome. So if I activate the link, for example, here, and if I transfer things over, you can see here we can transfer a motion, or we can transfer the entire scene, including the motion. And you click on here, it says bake all animations to sequencer. This is like probably the coolest feature of live link, to be honest, because this basically, when you transfer the characters over, it'll transfer the characters, it'll transfer the motions, everything will be sent over, and it'll be baked to the sequencer. So you'll have a sequence, basically a cinematic sequence right there already set up with all the animations and everything done. So Unreal Live Link again is amazing for that. But with the auto setup process I just showed, you have to do it manually. You have to add your character to the sequencer. You have to add the animation to the character, and so on and so forth. So, all right, anonymous attendee. Without MetaHuman, will body position information transfer to Unreal? Yeah, absolutely. So basically, you just it'll take your character's position in your iClone scene, and it won't move that position until you move it in iClone, right? So it'll be kind of be locked. So even if you try to move your character in Unreal, it won't move. If live link is active, you'll have to move it in iClone. So it'll change the world position in iClone. Hopefully that's clear. Amrit asks, why in iClone some of the scenes are not getting transferred to Blender via data link? Not sure. I'd have to troubleshoot that on your specific scene there, Amrit. But yeah, data link, Amrit just mentioned here, is amazing tool. Basically, it's live link for Blender and it's free. So, honestly, it's awesome. I love data link. Uh, Provided to us by a amazing developer, Victor Soupday. You can check that out more. Just basically Google like Blender data link, or you can just go to like it's up here as well. In iClone, you should see the add-ons, Blender. Yeah, right here. Oh, let me get my zoom thing out of the way there. Yeah, Blender character animation pipeline free right here. All right, so go to this page here, and you can use data link. Again, a free tool. So why not, right? Let's throw this in the chat for you guys. Okay. All right, got a few more questions to go here. Whoops. Anonymous. Okay, so that's the same one, but I'm not getting transferred to data link. Justin asks, which version of iPhone is good for this ARKit integration? Anything after an iPhone 10 is just fine. So it doesn't have to be a new iPhone. I have an old junky iPhone 10 that I use that I was going to use for this webinar, but I decided to go for the AccuFace instead. So anything after an iPhone 10. All right. So that's the data link one again here. Barry asks, are there any plans for auto setup for Maya? Yeah, we have lots of Maya users for sure. Now, in terms of the auto setup pipeline, there is, just getting these chat windows out of the way here. Nothing for Maya in here. Only for 3ds Max at this point. But I know they're working on Maya for sure, because we do have a lot of Maya users rather, that are, clamoring for this sort of thing. So we did have one before, however, it's not updated. So yeah, we do have plans for that, definitely. And the more requests we get for sort of auto setup tools, the more likely that we're going to be able to get that integrated into our pipeline workflow there. Thanks for the question, Barry. We are definitely working on Maya for sure. Okay, so Amrit again. Amrit hopefully hopefully answered that question. I mean, I can't really tell based on your project why some of the scenes aren't transferring via data link, but yeah, it'll depend. I've had crashes with data link. It's not a perfect tool, but yeah, it transfers most scenes over pretty flawlessly for me. If you're having a issue with any sort of like technical thing like that, Amrit, I would suggest contacting our customer support. From the main page, you can just go to support and support center. Okay, or rather here from your account. Once you're logged in, I haven't logged in yet, but you'll see support after you're logged in. Okay, and just go up there and contact our customer support, and they can do some technical troubleshooting with you. Okay, so Thomas asks, how does this process work with Motion Director? Good question. So Motion Director is our kind of like a real-time kind of, you can almost animate your character like a video game. Really, really cool new tool. Motion Director basically works the same way. So anything I did with my applied motions or my facial animation in iClone, you can do the same thing with Motion Director. And if you're live linked using Motion Director, you can basically like run your character around a stage. One cool thing you can do is you can actually send your meshes from Unreal to iClone, and you can kind of like have your character use foot contact in iClone and show your character walking around your Unreal Unreal Stage. So it'll have the same mesh, and it'll use iClone's foot contact to have your character walking around your video game stage in Unreal Engine, which is really cool. Works basically the same way. You just have to use Motion Director. Hopefully that answered that question. Thanks, Thomas. Um, Oh, lip sync as in timing, not expressions. So with lip sync timing, there's a number of different things you can do. I think this is from a question earlier um, regarding the lip syncing. So one thing you can do is you can send you can move all of your keyframes back and forth. One thing you can do as well is if you go to speed here, you can click and drag, so you can make it faster. Um, Now, if I do that, let's make it really fast. Okay, you can see the speed is at 200% there.
Thanks. I had a bit of an accident with the hairdryer this morning.
If you wanted to make him walk like a chipmunk, you can do that as well. You can just decrease the length of the Visine clip there, and that'll do that. You can also make it slower. So
Thanks. I had a bit of an accident with the hairdryer this morning.
Yeah, again, and generally, I'm not sure if you'd want to do that or not, but that's how you do it. You can adjust the speed there of your clips. But yeah, so you can have fun with that. Okay. Inso asks, I mean, only the MetaHuman audio to face tool to create facial animations on CC4 characters. Audio to face tool to create. Yeah. So again, if you're using it on a metahuman character, the metahuman characters are driven by different facial blend shapes than character creator characters. So there's not going to be, I was going to say you can import an FBX of facial animation, but I don't think that's going to work. So just because the facial makeup, the facial structure of metahuman characters is different from character creator characters. So what I'm saying is you can't really take a facial animation created on a metahuman character, and you can't put that on a character creator character. Also, I don't want to use metahuman characters, only CC4 characters, but I want to use metahuman audio to face tool on CC4 characters. That's kind of a good question. I don't think that's possible. I mean, if you bring your CC4 character into Unreal Engine using the audio to face tool, I've seen it done actually. Yeah, I've seen videos where people did it. So sorry, my brain was just kind of having a brain fart there. I was thinking you want to import the animation to character creator. But I mean, if you take your character creator for character into Unreal, you should be able to use the audio to face tool on that character, because I've seen it done before. So I can't recall where the video I saw online was. I don't want to go gallivanting through YouTube right now, but yeah, I've seen it done in so I would try and maybe just search it on YouTube, and you should be able to find a video where someone has done it, because I've seen it done. So sorry, I can't be more help than that. Another question from Barry here: can you upload custom poses to AccuPose? And while in AccuPose, can you save out poses? Yep, you can save. You can obviously save poses to your pose library, your content library in iClone. Uploading custom poses to AccuPose. I'm not sure if they have that functionality in Infinity. For those of you who aren't aware, they've caved and offered a subscription model for AccuPose. Again, it's the base version is free, but yeah, good question. Because I just basically started learning this myself a couple of weeks ago. You do have obviously the Infinity to for the incredible number of different poses and updates and everything that are free. So yeah, that's a good question. I don't think you can do that. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone who's used it more than me, but I haven't uploaded any poses to AccuPose, just because basically it's the AI is taught using the poses that are integrated. So I don't think the AI would be able to take new poses that aren't already taught. That would be my perspective on that. So good question, Barry. I don't think it's possible, unfortunately, to save or to upload your own custom poses. I may be wrong on that, and that would be really cool if I'm wrong, but just trying to think about it, because it's all AI trained, right? So it would need to be retrained on those custom poses. Okay, Anonymous asks, without MetaHuman, can you bring a scene to Unreal, including props and positional relationships to each other? Yes, absolutely. So if I wanted to, there's tons of tutorials on that. You can basically bring your entire scene in iClone into Unreal Engine, complete with your world positions and textures and everything like that. So again, auto setup is free. You can do that with auto setup. You can actually save your entire scene as a single FBX and export it and bring it into Unreal as a single FBX as well. It'll still have individual models and everything, but yeah, it's convenient to export it all as a single FBX if you want to do that. Absolutely, that's we've been able to do that for quite a long time. All right. Barry says, good stuff. I'm heading out. All right. Thanks, Barry. Thanks for your questions. And hopefully I helped answer some of them. I know I was a bit vague on certain things, but all right. It looks like we're good to go on the Q&A. I don't see any more questions from people. So yeah, lovely to have everyone here again. I'll just kind of show my face again here since we won't have any conflict with AccuPose there. All right, so yeah, thanks so much everyone for being here today. Hopefully you learned a little bit about the whole pipeline there. And if you come across the situation where the lips don't work, just import it using auto setup or just transfer it over using live link if you have live links. So yeah, unfortunately, apologies for that. But yeah, lovely to have you guys here. Don't forget to fill out the survey, get the 10% discount in the content store, and give us feedback for any sort of future webinars you want to learn about. Like I mentioned, we already have one set for AccuPose. That is going to be January, I believe January 9th. Just make sure you check back on the site for that. But yeah, I think we're good to go. So lovely to have everyone here again. Thanks so much for being here. And yeah, we'll have a webinar on the 18th for Cartoon Animator if you're interested in that with Mark Diaz. Make sure you check back on that if you want. And yeah, I think I'll bid you adieu. It's actually morning here. I rarely do webinars in the morning. It's normally evening where I am in Canada. So yeah, a little bit of a difference this time. But yeah, love to have you guys all here. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you later. Take care, guys.